Today is a day to be celebrated, as a jury of his peers has convicted Donald Trump on 34 felony counts. And let's be perfectly clear, Donald Trump was not convicted for having sex with a porn star. He wasn't even convicted for paying her off to silence her, although those things are bad enough. No, his conviction was for the cover-up. Donald Trump is a convicted felon because he directed his people to falsify business records. The prosecution proved its case beyond a reasonable doubt, with hard evidence, literally an entire paper trail. The jury found that all the checks, vouchers, and invoices written and signed off by Trump were improperly and illegally misrepresented as legal expenses when they were, in fact, all hush money payments. To make matters worse, the intent was not to keep the facts of his affair from his wife, who had just months before had Trump's son, but expressly and explicitly to keep this information from the American voters. I only wish that he was also convicted of election fraud, but that was not the scope of this trial. To be clear, the affair happened in 2006, but the hush money payments and the cover-up happened in 2016, just months before the presidential election. Now let's discuss what this is and is not. Joe Biden and his administration had absolutely nothing to do with this trial. Judge Merchan was more than fair. Despite Trump violating the gag order at least 10 times, Merchan did not find Trump in contempt of court and jail him, which was his right. Judge Merchan showed no bias, but was inordinately lenient on Trump. And in the end, Merchan did not convict Trump. A fair and impartial jury of his peers did, following the evidence which they found compelling and beyond a reasonable doubt. The justice system worked exactly the way it was supposed to. The prosecution presented its case and the defense had no counter. This was not a political witch hunt. In fact, I'm getting sick to death of hearing Trump claim that every time he is being held accountable for his actions is a witch hunt. Witch hunts traditionally went after loads of people, where everyone and anyone could be accused of some shit or with or without evidence. Being called out and held accountable for your single individual actions is not a witch hunt. America, we are better than this man. I take no joy in what has happened. It saddens me that a former president is now a convicted felon. This is disgraceful. As a nation, we should be mortified that any former president of the United States is a convicted felon. Republicans, you should be particularly ashamed and humiliated that despite this man showing you what and who he is, time after time after time, you continue to double, triple, and quadruple down on this clown. Use this opportunity to be rid of him. End this madness. Refuse to be beholden to this self-absorbed, self-serving, megalomaniacal, vitriolic coward. As soon as you're not kissing his ass, he throws you under the bus. Why do you let him do this to you over and over and over again? Refuse to play his games. Refuse to acknowledge him. He's the most foul and toxic human alive, and you know it. Are you really going to vote for this convicted felon? Are you going to look your children in the eyes and tell them this is the person they should look up to and aspire to be? Is this the paragon of decency and human dignity that you would want your children to emulate? God forbid.